I'm going to call the Water Sewer Commission meeting to order at 9:06, February 10th. Members present is Phil Stinchfield, Bob Sullivan, and myself, Colin Hare. First order of business, review and approve meeting minutes. Agree with those? Are you good with the minutes, Phil?
Yep.
Okay, so let's do the motion.
Yep. Motion to approve the meeting minutes?
Okay, as presented, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Rob?
I don't have water sewer reports. This weather's been killing us, trying to keep up with everything. I can fill you in a couple things without the reports.
Sure.
So on the sewer side, we still have a few things malfunctioning down here. I believe I told you last time the heat went out and the hot water heater went out. I still got to go through the procurement craft to try to get that done. I did tell them to order the heater, the rooftop unit, just because I can't have the building freeze. So we ordered that. It hasn't come in yet. But I got to get proposals on putting everything in and seeing it's the rooftop and the water heater. Those are the two main things that would have needed to be replaced with the conversion to gas. And then there's a little bit of piping work to do because when you do gas, it has more volume. You need more volume.
Yeah. Okay.
So the piping might need to be upgraded a little bit on, it's only a short section, I think needs to go upsized. And then there's one more thing is the Modine heater in there. But that one's a newer one, so you can do the conversion kit. So that won't be as expensive. We won't have to replace that unit. But I figured might as well do the whole gas conversion now instead of putting in propane and then turn around, coming back in to switch it all out to natural gas. So I'm just going to try to get that all switched over through this one project now.
Yeah. Need heat, for sure.
Especially with this temperature.
Yeah.
It's killing us. Luckily that all the electricity comes into that building, so the heat from that is kind of keeping it from freezing in there right now, but we just have the doors open to circulate that in.
Mm-hmm.
Last time we had to switch from SBR2 to SBR1. So we finally got valves replaced and working so that we can switch over that one. We switched over, that one's running. I'm still trying to work the bugs out. It always messes up the microbiology when you switch over to a new tank. So going through that, but toxicity passed. We just got those results this week. So even with the disruption there, we still passed toxicity. A little up and down on the numbers for like phosphorus, BOD, still within limits, I believe. Peter's doing the math on those, but we didn't. I didn't have all the numbers to figure it out. I'm pretty sure we came within limits.
So that's a transfer from we're on tank 3?
We got 1 and 3 running. We were at 2 and 3. We're going to take 2 down to go to 1.
Do the repairs on 2?
To do repairs on 2. And the mixer motor has a dead shorting in tank 2, so we'll repair that one as well. Which I'll put in here as one of the things that need to be done. It seems like the mixers, we had one go last year. Now this one went. So I anticipate the other one to go. So I think I would have to budget one and then another one next year. Just figure if we have to continue.
Yeah. How often do we use the third tank? Is it cycled out?
Yeah, typically we take one down and run the other 2, and then we'll swap them so we can do maintenance on the tank.
Yeah. Just trying to think for usage of all the motors and everything.
Yeah, to keep them cycled.
All balanced.
Well, normally when we take a tank down, we'll keep it with river water, clear water in there.
Yeah.
And then we still run the motors, the mixer to keep it from freezing. So the mixers typically run.
Yeah.
We have an issue with the decanter on this one. We've got it working right now, but it didn't seem to want to open correctly. We've got it open to run, but we can't close it, but it might not go through the cycle. So we've just got it open, which is what messes with our numbers a little bit as well, because that pipe fills up a little bit with the mixed liquor. So that initially starts to decant. The filters catch it, but now we're running the filters where they're doing a lot more work than they should be, so. So we gotta work on draining that tank, but that's one of the other things on top of everything else, and then we have the ice and the snow, and, I don't know if you guys are on Dynamic Douglas, but there was a few people saying they had no water, so,
Oh, I did, yeah, it was on, was that Rydell Road or something?
yeah.
Yeah, I did read that.
Yeah,
I never heard anything, so.
Somebody posted it,
Yeah.
and Adam texted me, let me know, because they're looking at Dynamic Douglas, so I don't see these. You think
in.
you'd think they'd
I-
let me in, so I could,
let me in.
I seen it 2 days later, and so I figured everything was
Right.
all set.
well, nobody called the water department, so I was like, all right,
Yeah.
that's good.
So what was it?
Then we got calls the next day.
What was
So
it?
the line that goes up Percy,
Yeah.
so Percy called, and then someone on Brookline Terrace called. Someone called, and then one on Brookline Terrace feeds off of Percy Martin, goes through the back.
Yeah.
So I went over there and I tried to open the hydrant to see if I could get water flowing to see what was going on. I couldn't get the hydrant open. And I got it about to turn, and then I went to close it. You hear the crunching, so it's all ice in the hydrant.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
That should be down 5 feet, right?
yeah, when we were looking to put the wrench on the hydrant branch, it doesn't seem like it's down 5 feet, so it seems a little more shallow. And there's only 2 houses pulling off of that line, so it doesn't get a lot of movement. So right now we got those 2 houses going house to house. You know, one of the houses on Percy or on Brookline is fed from Main Street, the other one feeds from Percy. So we just fed from that house to the other one. And then we got to feed off of another house to feed off of Percy right now. So we're still working on seeing if we can thaw out that hydrant a little bit so we can get it open so we can get some water moving. So that was Saturday. So I had them guys come in, and we're supposed to get 2 inches of snow. We have 5 inches of snow. 5 to 6 right now. So trying to clean things up and do water.
I'm busy.
Yeah, it's been one thing after another down there right now. So
Is there another hydrant in there? Or is only one? Can you thaw it? Can you hydrant the hydrant? Can you put something on there to heat that?
we've been trying to come up with different ways to figure out how we can thaw it. We did get a trickle going through the one on Percy, so we had him keep that running. So he's got, but it's just so little volume. If the main itself is frozen, I don't think it's going to be enough to thaw it. Just getting that one.
Yeah.
So we'll see if we can get that high. Go from there. But, yeah, I don't know of anything that we have that we can thaw high. Rapids.
I know somebody that
Yeah, I know. I thought the same
do it,
thing.
but I don't know.
Right?
If it's, I don't know, yeah. But I don't know if it's a good idea. I don't know the logistics of that.
Yeah, and I think Ray goes to Florida.
Yeah. You put a welder on it. Yeah, with the thaw right out. You put it on one. And then you thaw it.
Yeah. Juice it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's your process.
I heard somebody else tried that when Ray wasn't around, and the fire department looked like.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You don't know what you're doing.
That's what I was gonna say. I don't want to take that chance.
Yeah, I don't either.
We have a machine for doing service lines.
Yeah.
But if it's a main, it's not going to work. It's only a tube this big.
Yeah.
So, but we're still working on that.
Yeah.
Right now they got water. We got the water running, so keep it from freezing. So we got water for the time.
So is there not, maybe, well, I guess the hydrant can still freeze, so I was gonna say, can you put any way to just dig down, put like styrofoam over the line or something, so it doesn't get that process, get that heat.
I could do that, but they can all broke.
Down to the paved section, isn't it? It's gravel on one side, right?
It's paved up to like where that gate is that goes in the Percy. And
The lines in the road, it's on the side.
so
Yeah.
that's kind of where we're at right now. And it's freezing. Jake, so we do have a new hire. He started last week.
Bruce?
Yep.
Yeah. Good. How's he
He
working
seems
out?
to be a good fit.
Good.
You had asked about the licensing, but I was in the offer to get the 2.
Yeah.
So he went and passed his 2 exams. So
Oh, good.
he's got enough years experience to sit down and fill out the application and get it in full.
So he'll be a 2T,
2T full. He should be a 2T full. I'll check. Or 2D full.
2D,
And
and
a 1T.
1T.
And that's what the requirements are. So 2T1.
So-
2D1.
And so the job description, we may want to check, either redo that job description, or,
No, the job description said 2D and 1T.
oh, okay, I did.
I'm
And then
pretty sure.
what about, what's the 4? I thought I was reading that.
For municipal.
Yeah, because that has to be.
That was
required.
recommended, and I did tell him that he's willing to go work on that, but, but we gotta find a class that's, I haven't seen any that are open right now, so.
And he's willing to do what he's
Yeah.
willing, yeah, good, great. Well, that's good news.
Yep.
How about the open position for the assistant
Yeah, we gotta still
wastewater?
get that out.
Gotta get the ad
Yeah,
correct and
I
stuff.
put in here to raise the advertising budget a little bit, because most of the places I usually advertise were for free. We didn't really seem to get many hits on the ones that I could put out, and a lot of them now converted to fees for advertising.
Yeah.
Live.
I know,
I know you were saying put it in on
Indeed,
Indeed.
yeah.
Not in the final list.
Because I know, I think that, yeah, they did it in the fire, and they had a lot of hits on it, so. I don't know if there's a fee associated, how that works. So. I think that's probably,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
why that would be the broadest
Yeah.
audience, I think.
A little more time spent filtering the resumes.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm just gonna go through,
Yeah.
if they don't, at that point, if they don't meet
They're
any
a
of them.
doctor with no license.
Just, yeah.
Project updates. I think we already discussed the culvert was all done.
Paving in spring, is that what that's going for?
Yep. Yeah, we've had a couple meetings going through trying to start working on getting that lined up, because there was some changes to the curving and stuff like that that we were going to do. So we've got the change order written out for that. The change order is part of the sidewalks and bring the curb. So that was funded through the town meeting, and we're still within that budget. So there's no additional above what was appropriated already.
Anything on North Street? North Street. So how's that, the grant process on that? When does that get submitted again?
So that's the problem, is that, Bob doesn't want to start an application if we don't have somebody moving forward
Right, because
with the project, otherwise, because then we don't want to keep applying and then not have somebody moving forward and keep getting denied, because it's, you don't want to have too many applications out there doing the same project, and it's always getting turned down, so.
Yeah.
He wanted to wait to see if we got some movement over there. He's been on top of that. I talk to him on a regular basis, and they still haven't. I think there's been some timelines set now to say, all right, either do something or we got to move a different direction. I know they've had a few meetings with potential people that want to purchase that property or move forward with a project, but there's nothing been signed yet, so.
And how about the other proposed project that was down on, up on North Street at the end, the industrial?
I
Anything on
haven't heard
that?
anything on that. I think that was just a timing thing. Somebody wanted to get it in there because of
Of the
proposals.
grandfathering, yeah.
Yeah,
On the zoning thing?
that's what I think, yeah.
So it'll buy me years on the zoning.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything else on that.
I was just curious
Actually,
if they ever got over the hurdles of all with the 40B, how that was all included in that parcel. was supposed to be all open space, so I'm curious how that.
Yeah, they-
How that.
They claim no, and
Yeah, I know they did, but I'm just curious. I thought council was looking into that.
yeah, and I think council kind of went along with it, saying that the way it was written or whatever
Yeah.
didn't exclude it, or didn't incorporate it into the 40B. So I think they had a little bit of wording in there that kind of left some wiggle room to I guess it was open for interpretation as well.
So you wonder why town council would have had the language initially. It was the same town council. And then when it comes back, how they miss things like that. And,
Right.
and then what the intent of that whole deal was supposed to be. Yeah, because it affects all the people on the end up there.
It does.
And that wasn't the intent of the project, but you only do what the law says, so.
What else was on there? Oh, so projects, there's one that I gotta go look at today down in southwest Maine.
Oh, the 40B we just talked
The
about.
40B we were
Yep.
talking about. I just showed you guys the plans real
Yep.
quick.
Yep.
I got some concerns about the water pressure there and the availability to be able to provide what we're required to provide for water pressure and volume. That just came in, so
Yeah. So that would be, like I said, I think that's gonna be more just the numbers will have to, all the hydrology have to be done, and that's to be
Yep.
demonstrated that they can meet all the requirements.
yeah,
That's fine. You know,
I agree.
my take on that.
As long as if it can provide enough, then that's fine. But if it can't,
Yeah.
then
Yeah, they come up with an alternate method or
and
do whatever they have to do with the
I don't know.
engineers.
I don't know what the alternate method could be that,
I don't either.
would be feasible,
Yeah, I have
but-
no idea.
but we'll let them propose something and we'll look at it. So,
Yeah. Yep.
so that's the 40B there. I think that's about it for projects that I can think of off the top of my head. The water asset management. that's,
Anything on
pretty wrapped up.
cubes?
No movement over there yet.
No movement?
Nope. Oh, one of the things going on, so Sunday morning, the hydrant alarms went crazy. So I went on the system and I was looking at it, and I'm like, yep, water's definitely going somewhere. And then Adam texted me saying that he just got a tone for Lackey Dam Road, 40, the McKesson building. So apparently one of their sprinkler lines let go. They dumped like 50 to 60,000 gallons, like real quick. So we did have that issue. I don't know if it was a freezing issue or, faulty fitting or what.
Yeah, it
It seemed like a 2-inch Victaulic fitting let go, I believe. So
Ooh, they must have made a mess.
I'm sure it did. I haven't seen or heard anything about how much of a mess, but I'm pretty sure they got a lot of stuff moved in there now. And 50 to 60,000 gallons has got a lot of water to dump on stuff. So.
And it's so cold out, everything's freezing, it open, it comes out.
Yeah. Yep. So
So do you get an alarm when that happens too? Or no? How does?
I don't get an alarm from them, but like I said, I have all our hydrant alarms set up
Yeah.
fairly well, so that it seems like pretty much anytime someone flows a hydrant, we pick up on it. And that one sent like 40 alarms, so yeah, that
I know you had mentioned Adam and getting an alarm, so I'm wondering, do you get the same? Do you get the same?
the tones. Yeah, no, I don't get that. No. I have an app that I could listen to it, but it was on an older phone, and I can't get it to work on a new phone, so I'll probably have to go see Kelly to get it updated on the new phone to get it to work. But like I said, I think we've got the stuff on our system that we're pretty tight with everything, so
Yeah.
when something happens, we usually see it. Like I got my alarms before the tone and everything came in, so
Okay, so you still get notified.
I
So
still
it's
have
not-
something. It's just a matter of
Right.
I've got to search, and usually I'll text John or Adam, "Hey, you guys doing anything?" Or, and it's usually no, and then it's, "Oh no, we know what the problem is." So
So yeah, I guess that being that's all fire anyway, so they would get the alarms on all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fire gets it.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Like if I see something, I usually text John or Adam, or someone in the yeah, no, we're not playing around.
Yeah.
Or they'll tell me, yeah, Tone just came in for whatever. So
Something, yeah.
yeah. So I mean, we communicate a lot on everything. So
Yeah. Good. Communication's key.
all right. So then on the project updates.
Okay. Anything, Phil? Project updates? No? No good? How's the status of progress on Cinegrow?
Cinegrow, me and Kyle have a meeting tomorrow to go up there and meet with them to go over everything, see what we can do.
Good. So that's
211.
yeah.
I'll go as long as that's not.
I'll be curious what they come up with. That'd be nice if we can get that resolved.
Yes, it would.
Huge.
Take one load off my back.
I'm glad Kyle's going with that, 'cause Kyle understands that stuff too as
Yeah.
well. I think he used to work at Cinegrow.
Honestly, I think he used to work there, so he understands the process and what's going on.
Yeah.
And I would think
And you do obviously as
I
well.
would think our sledge is pretty favorable for most people. You know, we're pretty much a bedroom community. We don't have the industrial, you know, we're not laden with PFAS like most places. That's the biggest concern with everyone right now, is the PFAS. Because nobody can get rid of it. You know, where do you get rid of it? And
Yeah.
we know we're kind of a pass-through thing where treatment plants, you know, we didn't generate it, we didn't make it, we're not producing PFAS,
Hopefully.
but it's coming in and it's just kind of passing through our treatment plant. So
Still not done yet. The pipe could still be frozen. We just don't know yet.
I just
Well, I
went
mean,
to a
well, we've got all
meeting
week. Well, Stephen.
2 weeks ago, discussing all that, you know, the sludge and the processing and what the plan is, and I think everybody's pretty much in a panic right now.
It's probably the unknown, right? Because you don't know what the state's going to be coming up with.
Yeah, we don't know what they're coming up with yet, and how do you deal with it? You know, even most of the incineration plants, like we send ours to incineration, I've always been a fan of incinerating because that breaks that cradle to grave because you destroy it. But problem is PFAS isn't destroyed in that process because they don't burn it high enough. So the temperature doesn't get high enough in the incineration the way they do it to get rid of the PFAS. So now you got all the ash that's concentrated PFAS. So wherever they're disposing of that, it's going to be a problem.
So ultimately, I'm guessing the PFAS is obviously the problem. So whatever products or whatever is causing that PFAS, I'm assuming that that'll all stop being all banned, right?
Oh, they already banned all that.
All that stuff's banned.
Yeah.
So it's just existing.
Well, they ban the key critical ones, but
Yeah.
there's like 9 or 10,000 different elements that are the PFAS. They
Oh, boy.
picked 6 that they focused on right now.
The highest levels.
The 6 that were most critical, that were the long chain PFAS chemicals that have the most health effects. They targeted those. And then we just did the UCMR, which is unregulated contaminants. They pick a bunch of systems throughout the state and then they test all that for unregulated contaminants that they're looking at regulating in the future. There was another 29 PFAS contaminants on that they're testing for. So I just got the results yesterday. What's today? Tuesday? Monday? Yeah, I got them yesterday. So we got 2 compounds that were on the Glen Street wells and 2 compounds that were different on the West Street wells. But the limits, the detectable limit is 0.0040 micrograms per liter. One of them was at exactly 0.004. So we're right at the lowest level they can detect. There was 2 of them were right at the lowest level, and then 2 of them were, I think the detection limit was 0.0030, and we were 0.0035. So we're about as low as you can get. But it seems like they keep targeting until they can get more systems on treatment. But but I don't think they factored in the issue with putting every system in the state on treatment, and everybody's using GAC, and now they can't figure out how to dispose of the GAC once it's saturated with PFAS. I got an example of where the big problem is over in Dudley, we put in PFAS treatment. The engineers originally told us to do a change out on the GACs about $50,000. We figured, originally they said, oh, you might get a year out of it, maybe longer depending on the water quality, everything else. So we're at 2 years and it's starting to get breakthrough, so you gotta start looking at doing the change out. Well, they came back saying that they want $25,000 to evaluate the media and then give a protocol on how to change it out, which I thought should have been included in the design of the treatment plant. You'd think you're buying a system, they'd tell you how to maintain it. And that original $50,000 cost, now they say it's more like $350,000 to $500,000 just for the disposal. So that's not including the media to replace it, it's just to dispose of the media that's in there now. So that's a big change, and everybody was screaming and yelling about the cost of the plant, but now if you look at that, $500,000 is $250,000 every year that you get a budget. So that's essentially what the treatment plant costs, based on amortization over 20 years. So not only did you have to pay for the plant, but you're basically that same cost now continued forever.
Cool.
And the other problem I see is I think all the GAC, everywhere that makes GAC is owned by the Chinese. So I think Chinese even own the one in America that produces GAC. So
they were on top of their game. They knew exactly what was coming.
So, I don't know where that's heading, but luckily we're, knock on wood, still very low on all the PFAS that we've identified.
Yeah.
Nothing.
So at some point, like you're saying at Dudley now, that the cost is going to get so high for the residential users.
Right.
I mean, I don't.
I don't know how you can afford it.
I mean, is there going to be government subsidies coming in with that? Do you think some sort of grants? That?
So they did some subsidies for the design and the treatment plant.
Mm-hmm.
They did 0% interest loans. Depending on the community, it was like 19 or 33% principal forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
But now, so the people that had really bad cases were up front because they had to hurry to get treatment in. So all of them got a lot of the funding. But when it gets down to people like us that have very, very little levels, just above detection, when they get to the point that they're going to make us do treatment, there's no funding because they've already expended it all.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know where where they'll go with that, but I know there was a push at that meeting that I went to. There was a push to put a lot more funding there, but they don't know if it'll get approved or not.
Yeah. And that class action lawsuit, if people signed on to that, then that's it. They don't get any more than you can't go back and sue them.
Well, that was for the contaminants that were initially done. So the ones that we just detected at the detectable limit, those aren't on that list. So you still have the ability to go after or something else.
So they have a specific. I don't know if it was a broad PFAS.
I don't think it was broad where this is it. If something else comes up, you can still go after it.
A chance of some sort of litigation.
But even that, like Dudley, they had to spend $12 million on the treatment plant, and even there, the money that they got out of the class action suit doesn't come anywhere near that.
I think people are going to stop putting septic back in if they can.
That just puts it right back in the ground. You're thinking of the wastewater side.
Yeah, that's true.
You're thinking the drinking water side.
Yeah, no, it's coming.
That's where most of it in the wastewater is coming from. Everybody using the drinking water that was living with PFAS, and now it's going down the drain and coming down the treatment plants.
Yeah, so technically, you're probably better off you don't want it on your property. So you
I was going to say, hey, you want to get rid of it.
and send it down. Give it back.
Yeah, so they had to come up with a process that does groundwater remediation that destroys them.
Yeah.
There's that one person that I was talking to that started that company out in Worcester, Mass. I think there. They have something that destroys it. And when I talked to her, she said that they only have systems that do like 10 gallons a minute right now. So they haven't done it on large scale. But I tried to push that Dudley to say, hey, why don't we put in something with resin instead of GAC? Because you're going to have GAC is going to be all concentrated PFAS. So why don't we look at a resin-based process? And they were like, oh, that takes too long, piloting and everything else. And the state was pushing so hard to get the treatment online that they had to go with GAC. If you went with a resin-based, then you could put a frac tank in, like a 30,000-gallon tank or something. The resin captures the PFAS and then you backwash it into that tank. So now you're concentrated into the tank. But then you could put something like that system that she came up with, that you could just run at 10 gallons a minute. You have a 30,000-gallon tank and just let it go at 10 gallons a minute, destroy it. But then you get rid of the PFAS and you have disposal costs. So I think that's a better avenue to pursue. You want to do it. But time and money.
Yeah, sounds like a complicated issue. Well, hopefully that'll get,
Yeah, hopefully, like I said, our sludge should be fairly favorable, so I think we would have a good shot at getting the facts done. Our biggest issue is not being able to get to 4%. To get to 4% costs us a lot of money. Upgrades and operating costs. Do that, so.
all right, we're gonna just skip over budget for out of order on the agenda. Old business, the only thing I think of on that was irrigation. You want to talk about that engineering company?
Yeah, so I talked to Chris McClure, who does engineering. He said he'd be willing to look at something for us, as well as something on to put the tank out to bid for rehab. Remember I told you I budgeted $100,000 for the tank rehab. That one is sitting there. But then when I went to go do it, the engineers wanted $100,000 to put it out to bid. And I had gotten 3 prices that were like 37, 43, and 57 or something like that. I'm like, you want twice as much to put it out to bid than it takes to do the work? So that kind of stalled the whole process.
Yeah, that's
there.
crazy.
So I'm like, I want to talk to a smaller engineering firm.
Yeah.
With Chris, and he said, yeah, he'll look at it. So I'll try to meet with him and stuff to see.
And I guess the second part of that is, given the fact that that's a general bylaw,
Right, so you have to go through planning board.
right? So we're gonna make sure that so technically that wouldn't be coming through. We could supply information, but the Board of Selectmen would have to approve that. And that's a general bylaw, and they approve all that stuff, so
Yeah, so I'd have to go through and put together enough
information.
present it to them.
Yes.
To explain why.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it's not a simple thing.
Yeah. Well, I know it's not simple, but every town around here has irrigation. So whatever they
It
call,
seems
whatever,
like it's
whatever
simple, it's just the
policy.
process to do it.
Yeah, because if that was in the general bylaw, it wouldn't be so, it would have less complicated than what we have to go through. Old business, anything else on old business? I think you addressed most of that with reports. You addressed the tank, right? Yeah, you did. Okay. All right, so the dreaded budget. We can start that on. I know we got a draft that was done on 1/13. So what have you done since then?
So I've modified some. So I didn't have my expenditure spreadsheet that I usually use. And when we switched over drives, IT kind of messed up where things went. Things didn't transfer. So then we were transferring things after the fact, and then files got rearranged. So I've been trying to find it. I couldn't find it. I finally asked her because I knew she was updated. She's like, oh, well, I took it off the drive, put it on my desktop. So I didn't have access to it, so I just put it back in there. So I'm trying to go through that. But, So there's some subscription costs that were not included before. We have there's a new subscription for the meter software. So that's an added $3,800 a year expense for support for that. We avoided it for a while. Originally, they had support. They kept trying to tell us they had to have support. If you don't, you gotta pay the hourly rate, which I was fine with. It was rather expensive, but we bill twice a year. So if I don't have a problem with billing, you're paying $3,800. They wanted $5,000 originally for the support, so it was going to be $5,000 to have support for a year. I'm like, we bill twice a year, and if I don't have a problem with the billing, I didn't need support. So I'm like, I think it was like $400 an hour or something for support. But if it only takes us an hour to fix whatever problem, I'm not going to have 12 problems that are going to be a year. So I opted out of that. And then after that, they said, oh, well, we don't offer the hourly support anymore. So they just kept trying to force you
Into the set fee.
into paying that fee.
Yep.
They came down a little to $3,800 instead of $5,000. We got into a bind where we couldn't get readings to work. We couldn't get new. So they were trying to get you on support regardless. I sent some emails that nobody appreciated, but in the end, the radios that were coming in now, we couldn't read them, and we're like, why can't we read the radios? Oh, well, you're on the old software, and then they won't let you upgrade to the new software if you don't have support. So like
racket. Racket.
That's what I said. It was extortion. That's what I said in my email.
Yeah.
One of the things I sent in my email.
They sell you all the products and say, oh yeah, by the way.
Yeah, and well, you can't use them anymore if you don't upgrade.
Yeah.
So we finally had to bite the bullet and get the support so we can get the system up and running for this billing around.
Yeah.
So we pretty sure we got all the bugs worked out now, so all the stuff is reading right. It's all coming in on the software, but like we weren't even able to do final reads. So you go out and try to read it, you couldn't do a read without initiating the entire account to read.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it was a nightmare. So
Yeah, that's not good.
no. So we got all that worked out now, and moving forward. So like I said, there's some things that are in there that had jumped up a little bit. Let's see. Let me find my papers in here. So electricity, I looked at where we stand. On the sewer side, I had to go up a little bit. So I went up around 10,000 on that. I'm not sure if you guys have any insight on what you think electrical rates, if they're gonna go up or down.
The way they've been going, it's been
They're gonna go up.
I know, so I didn't account for inflation on any of these. This was just basically what we're paying now and where we stand. We're a little behind on the current budget on the sewer side. On the water side, we're tracking almost right on. So we're on track with the electricity on the water, but we're behind on the sewer. So like I said, I went up 10 on the sewer.
right. So is that gonna now with the new heaters? That's all fan force, right?
For what?
The gas, so it's fan force. So obviously that's gonna generate electricity as well for all the new heaters.
Well, we're not really changing the type or style. It's just going from propane to natural gas.
Okay.
So
Cost should be the same then besides electrical.
electrical costs should be the
Right.
same.
Okay.
We just have to pump. I think the conversion, it's like 0.556, I think is, per BTUs, you're at 0.556 compared to LP.
So we're not adding any new heaters. It's just
Right.
existing ones that we're changing.
Existing that we gotta convert and swap
That's
over.
right, okay.
Some of them we can convert, they have to just change the
Orifice, yeah.
orifice kits out.
Yeah.
Some of them we can't. Like the 2 units here, we can change the orifice, get these swapped. As I told you before, the hot water heater, the rooftop unit, both those died. Those we have to replace, so they'll be replaced with one that's already compatible with natural gas. And the Modine unit in there can be replaced with an Orpha skid, so we don't have to replace the unit. But the other building has 3 of the big Modines, but because they're in a hazardous environment down there, they have to be sealed units, so they can't change the Orphs in those. And they are probably at their life expectancy anyway. They're over 20 years old, all 3 of those down there. So those 3 I'll have to factor in to get replaced in this next budget.
So the hot water heater in
This building, next building.
next building over?
Yeah.
So that's just the gas, it's electric now?
No, it's propane now. So that's, unfortunately, it's one of those, I mean, we need hot water for the showers and everything in
Yeah.
there anyway, but that system, it's like 20 grand for that hot water heater, because it has to be designed to meet the regulatory requirements on the tempered water for the eye wash stations. So that changes it from like a $3,000 hot water heater to a $15,000 hot water heater, and then plus installation. So
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yep. Okay. So we get the increase on that. Just
So I'm not sure where Steve was going.
so on the repair and maintenance, 100,000. What does that entail for the 100,000?
So the 100,000 is the base number. It used to be 50,000, but I think I had mentioned to you last time I need to raise that to 100 just because everything's
It's been going, yeah.
over 20 years old. Everything's going.
Understandable.
Those valves and stuff that we just did, that was about $50,000 just to get those done. So that wipes out what our previous budget was, not counting any other repairs and maintenance. So, like I said, we have to at least go up to the 100,000 on that. I haven't done any of the items, or I haven't included any numbers on the additional items.
So that's repair and maintenance agreement. Is that any different than?
So the agreement is where we pay other people to come in and do the
Okay,
repairs.
all right. I was looking down the line too. Okay. No, we always bring that up every year on
I know.
the classifications on that.
So that's-
different ones.
So that was one of the other things that I was just going through here, which is why I still don't have everything dialed in like I want it, because I get hung up for far too much time on that. I said the $3,800 for the support.
Yeah.
So I was going through and I'm like, wait a minute, where are we putting the support for the emission systems? Where are we putting the support for Munis? So we've got them under like 3 different lines. So I've got to figure out and talk to Jean about what she's saying. So you got maintenance contracts, which is just below the one that you just said, the repairs and maintenance. So maintenance contracts, we have some under there. Then we have licenses and subscriptions. Those are an additional thing where we have fees for Steve said one of the bypass lines froze.
So if you go back to the, not to interrupt, but go back to the maintenance contracts,
Yep.
you had the,
Yeah, it was at 5830 and I went to 6500. That one I had based,
Okay.
that was based on the mission contracts,
okay.
because their prices went up a little bit.
560, yeah, okay.
So I'm just trying to cover the cost of the increase.
Yeah, I understand.
But again, I still want to, I got to go through this a little better to figure out what classifies under maintenance contracts, what classifies under license and subscriptions, and there's one other one that we're putting them under. Yeah, I'll have to look again, but
Yeah.
there's 3 different ones that we've been classifying them under. There's repairs and maintenance contract, maintenance contract, and license and subscription. So those are the 3 different line items that they trigger under. But if it's a subscription, it should all be under one, in my opinion. I don't know why we're splitting it up into 3 different ones. Some of that came from Jean saying that we had to have it under this item. I just need to get her to kind of give me the definition as to what constitute which of the 3 line items.
Okay,
So I just went up on the mission one there.
professional and technical.
Professional and technical, that one I didn't.
13,000 on the increase.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna remember, because I have them all written notes off to the side on my spreadsheet on the computer.
All right, we can just skip over that.
Now, some of that, I went up 10 for doing the sewer camera, to camera the sewer lines, because we need to get on a more regular schedule on that. If you see that one over there underneath the emergency light, see how we have 5 zones that are circled? And then there's one more that goes down by the middle that's not circled for some reason. But theoretically, we should be doing 1 zone a year. So, and then I'll fit in Gilboa within the other ones at some point. So we should be doing 1 zone a year, and basically by the time we finish getting through it, we should be starting over again. So I figured it takes about $10,000 to do one of those zones.
Okay.
So then instead of putting it in under, originally we had it in here under the additional things, but it's not really additional. It's something that we should just budget every year for.
Yeah.
And then it won't be one of these. Same thing with the tree removal and stuff. Every year I put stuff in there, but I'm like, every year we have the same problems. More trees come down, breaks more fences. So we should just stick on a regular schedule on the tree removal.
Right, until we get everything.
Like $3,000 a year for half on water, half on sewer, and just keep going until we
Get it.
get ahead.
Yeah.
So that'll increase one of the line items. So that was 10. The other 3. Something else that I had justification. I'll get it for you after. Like I said, I still got to do some more tweaking to this because we got. I didn't find that sheet till this morning where I'm doing the comparisons where we stand with the current budget. Advertising, I went up. I kind of already explained that to you, that I went up on that to put it out more places. A lot of the places used to be free, now they're not. So I went up on the sewer. I think I was gonna delete it all on the water, but then I didn't. So I cut it in half because we still need to do advertising if we do a rate study or a rate hearing. So if we do a rate hearing, there has to be, public notification for all that. So that's where I was on that.
Yeah. Okay. Nothing on legal?
No, we haven't had anything under the legal.
No anticipated,
I don't have any anticipated ones. And I think some of that should be covered under the retainer if we do run into something.
engineering.
Yeah, engineering still, on the sewer side, I left it at the 50,000. On the water side, I jumped it up to 150.
Yeah, I'm just going ahead and
I was gonna say, this might be easier if we just go
right
line item and do
Yeah.
both sides at once.
Yeah. Expedite it a little quicker, I guess. Right.
Yep. So on the sewer, like I said, I level funded it, the typical 50,000 that we have in there. On the water, I increased it to 150. One of those is based on needing money to do the tank to put that out to bid. Like I said, originally Stantec said 100,000 to put everything together, the package, and put it out to bid. So I increased it so we can get that done, but that 100's not all water tank. I had the other engineer for.
That was under which one? Which one?
Engineering.
Engineer. Okay.
So some of that additional 100,000 is it contains the engineering for the water storage tank. Oh, yeah, some of the other was if we're going to have the engineers do the irrigation stuff,
Yeah.
because I believe that was what you had mentioned at the last meeting, was to have an outside contractor look at, or consultant doing the looking at that irrigation policy.
Yeah. If you,
Some of
I mean, if it's something you can handle and you get the time to do it, then
Unfortunately, I don't have the time. I'm still trying to figure out like 48 hours in a day, but
yeah. Okay.
so I figure if we budget for it, if we don't use it, we don't use it. It just goes back into retained earnings. So it's not like I can just spend engineering money for whatever I want.
Right. No, I know. I can get that. Would be hopefully we can get that,
Yeah, I'd like to get both of those
get those resolved.
done,
Get that done.
off the list.
Yeah. Okay.
Next one's level funded. On the sewer, I went up 1,000 on the employee training seminars,
Yep.
simply because we have, the water operator that we want to get trained to do sewer. So there'll be some expenses there.
Yep.
And same with the second newest employee. I know we had interest in trying to get him some wastewater license as well.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Still want to get him through the water one first. but-
Yeah. That's the priority
Yep.
for that position anyway.
Right. All right. Level funded on the other side. Telephone, level funded on both.
Looks like
Just go down there until we get to other services.
Yeah.
So I haven't even got into any of the other additional things, but that whole jump is
that was
just
the Synagro, right?
basically just Synagro.
Yeah. It was 96,000. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, I have the math on the other sheet that
Until we get the odd numbers from them.
Right. Tomorrow we'll have a better idea to see what we're looking at, and I can try to do some math that way.
Yep.
Vehicular supplies. I went up 2,000 on that because with the new vehicle, we're gonna have to get that outfitted with, radio and all that stuff. Because that's stuff that the dealer doesn't include. So, actually, I'll probably end up splitting that between. So I didn't increase it on this one on water, but I increased it on sewer. So I need to split that and put half the increase on water and half the increase on sewer.
So what are they, you still put radios in them? You don't just use cell phones to communicate?
No, we have radios in all the trucks for
Okay.
because it goes to police, highway.
Also, everybody can kind of hear
yeah,
what's
everybody
going on.
can,
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
And then we go down to insurance premiums. I raised just because I believe they're going up. I got to talk to Matt about it, but what did I do? 10%, I think.
Yeah, insurance has gone up substantially on a lot of things.
Yeah, and I know they restructured how they did it, and a lot of things weren't covered at what they should be, so these numbers might not even be enough. I forget some of the buildings. We had one of the buildings that they had like $50,000 to if it caught on fire to replace stuff. I'm like, the controls in that. I think it was that building that has all the controls, and it's 130,000 or so that we got to do just to replace the ones that we need to. That's not replacing everything. So, if we had a fire in the electrical room there, it's way more than that. So, I think we went to more realistic numbers so that if there was something happen, we had what would cover it.
Yeah, right, you wanna be
Yeah, so
adequately
it's
protected.
more representative as opposed to before they were not even close. And I think some of them, I think there was one building that it was like you can't even buy a shed for what they had, the cost of it. I'm like, it's not counting municipal and
Yeah.
prevailing wage and everything
Yeah.
else that we'd have to pay. So we want the more realistic numbers. I just got to see what the premiums are coming out at. So those are in red, but you can't see it because I don't have a color printer.
So if something happened, like maybe the insurance has a value way under now, and something does happen, I think that would probably fall into errors and omissions on the insurance side for not properly evaluating that, right?
You would think so, but is it a fight we want to hang our hat on?
Yeah, we want to make sure to try to address everything, and make sure we're, because they're going to turn around and say, well, you didn't tell us that. it was gonna
Right,
be
which
this."
is why when I sat with the guy, we went through and, I went through all the values, and of course, a lot of them were me just coming up with numbers just based on what I can estimate, knowing what I've got prices to do for replacements on
Yeah.
stuff that are in the buildings.
Yeah.
But it's far more than they had them before.
Okay, so insurance up 37 and that, and then 30,
Yeah, so dues and memberships went up. I don't know why I went up on water and not sewer. Sewer doesn't have a lot of memberships. Water has a ton of memberships for some reason. But all the memberships on water cover, if you go to one or two classes, it pays for the memberships. So
Yeah.
it's worth it to have the memberships just to get the discount on the classes,
Yeah.
if nothing else. Capital, I went up on the water partially to do additional radios, so we can try to get some of the metering, some of the rest of the town on
Yeah.
radio.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you right now is a good example on why we need radios, because if you see how much snow's out there and trying to get these guys to walk through people's yards and
Yeah.
where people plowed and you try to get through to get to them, it's not like that snow that's nice and hard that you can stay on top. You're going right through because all this stuff is fluffy, so
Yep.
you're up past your knees trying to walk through somebody's yard to get a meter reading. And we should get more people on the radios just for one, logistically to get reads quicker. And if we can get the whole system on radio, one of my intents would be to go out and read either on a monthly or, at least quarterly basis just to read. And we'll get, we can at least compare to see if somebody has a leak. We've had a couple that had a leak for an entire billing cycle, and then, we abate a ton of money off of a bill
Right. Could have been picked up.
where we could have caught it quickly
Right, I had a
and
quarter.
saved all that money, so these radios will pay for themselves just in that aspect. So that's why I went up on the capital line.
All the new stuff automatically gets the radio. Right?
Yeah, anytime a new one goes in, it's meter, radio, everything.
Yeah. Okay. So all the new, like, North Village, that's all radio?
That's all radio.
Everything up there, okay.
Yeah, North Village, Sleepy Hollow,
all the-
Williams.
Yep.
Yeah,
Anything new.
Anything new goes in,
Okay.
gets a radio. That's all included in the one we built
Yep.
for the connection and all that.
Yep.
So I
Okay.
believe all the debt is off this year
All the debt on the,
on everything. I think we're debt free
that's good.
until we finish Depot Street.
Yeah. Yeah, then we got that.
And hopefully that'll come in under budget and it'll minimize what we have to borrow.
The,
So I had debt on that last one because I didn't change it. So your first copy.
on the first one.
I think I still had some debt listed down there. It'll be down the bottom.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, yeah, so that'll work out good, 'cause I remember when we were strategizing on that debt, to try and eliminate the debt, was a lot of that had to do with knowing the capital, some capital project, bigger ones, meaning the plant, we knew that was gonna be outdated, not outdated, but a lot of things is gonna
Right.
start, we have to
You
put
gotta
some,
start
spend some
doing
money, so.
upgrades or, yeah. I mean, that was the old rule of thumb was you gotta figure for upgrades in 20 years.
Mhm.
So if you build a plant, figure 20 years, you're gonna have to start doing upgrades to the plant. Not even just maintenance, it's more upgrades as to either new requirements or, you know, more stringent limits or whatever, so. That was always the rule of thumb in the past. Hasn't quite gone that way so much more recently, but now with the PFAS, who knows what's gonna happen, so.
So I would like to really focus in on the asset management plan
Mhm.
and with the understanding, knowing the debt was dropping, that the borrowing, as it could be, the timing is working out
Perfect.
well, yeah. So,
Well, the thing is that, you know, our debt actually fell off several years ago because we
But we still
collected
had to
enough to
collect
pay
it,
it.
right.
So unfortunately, it doesn't work like you would typically see the towns do it,
Yeah.
where, you know, you have debt
It's-
coming off and you replace it with debt and it kind of keeps it even and, you know, just a slow increase. The way you guys did it down here was you set up a fee to cover the debt that you took on, and when the debt was done, that fee came off. So we finished paying for the debt a few years ago, or collecting. We collected enough money to pay the debt off a
Yeah.
few years ago, but we just carried out the
The
loan.
remainder
because-
of the loan, right?
Right, because it was a low,
Right.
we had a very low interest.
Right, right. I'm a fan of the debt exclusion because it drops off.
I know.
If you allow, especially municipalities, any government, if you give them $10, they're gonna spend 15, and it's gonna continue to, it'll never drop off. If it's a private side, you know, they're watching the dollars. I mean, the towns watch the money as well, but it seems to be a lot easier to just gradually, nothing ever drops off. It just continually goes up and up versus reset and start and get yourself back.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying, and I understand your theory behind it. I just think that there's enough that we need to do to continue, you know, continuously borrow for a long time. So if you did a project, I think that by the time that one falls off, you'd be doing another project. So it could just evenly carry on. But
Right.
you know, the hard part is now we took that fee away, so now you hit somebody with a fee again for something new, and it seems more painful.
Yeah.
You know, that's what so, I mean, depends on how you look at it.
Yeah.
But some of those are the things that we need to talk about is, you know, the Main Street water line. You're aware of that. So we gotta look at what we want to do with that.
So that should be all. Have you submitted a capital list to capital? plan?
Capital hasn't had me do any of their stuff for a couple of years now.
Yeah, we should just, even if we fund, if it's funded through enterprise, it still should be out there, let them, so
Yeah.
everybody's aware of, there's no surprises coming. It still should be on
Yeah.
that plan.
So,
You know, and it has a value over 10,000, all the things that meets that criteria.
10,000, 5 years or so.
And it helps because a lot of the projects may need to be, a portion of that might come from taxpayers, not just ratepayers, because of the use of what it's for.
Yeah, that's what I used to try to do is look at it to figure out what projects are coming, like if highway's gonna do a road.
Yeah,
We don't want them to go pave a road and then say, oh, well, 2 years from now, we're planning on putting a new
yeah,
water main.
yeah.
You know, I talk with Adam, I used to talk with John all the time to figure out what their plans were. That's why we did Cemetery Street when we did. You know, obviously Gilboa Street, East Main, all those roads, to get all that stuff done. But if we have water main projects coming up, you know, I don't want to start paving Main Street right now when we know that we got to redo the main in that road. We had 4 more this year, but last year on Main Street, so it puts us up getting closer to 20 now. Breaks on Main Street. So,
Yeah, that should be a definite. So I would put that definitely on the capital.
and I think that's probably my biggest priority on the main projects.
Has Bob looked at anything for grants on that?
There's nothing up there that he
There's
can.
nothing. I noticed that some other communities got some, they had a round of grants that just got approved and some
Yeah, but he
things.
he can't pin anything to economic development.
Yeah.
So there's nothing up there to develop to, it's not a commercial or industrial, there's no real potential up there to do anything.
But isn't there some grants that aren't tied to just general,
So
water improvement projects?
I know I explained it to you in the past, but I'm sure you're not trying to remember those things.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
a lot of the grants that we pushed to try to get, they fund them through SRF.
Right.
So we have to go for an SRF loan to do a project in order to be eligible to
For
receive the grants. So I don't like the way it's done. For one, I hate SRF grants, SRF loans to begin with.
Yeah.
Because I think what you save in interest, it costs you in requirements that they require when you do that.
Yeah. I remember going through all that.
You know, a lot of their requirements just add a lot of cost to projects. And a lot of extra work where you gotta sit and have meetings and discussions and tons of paperwork that you gotta submit to show payrolls of everybody that's working on it and everything else. So, and they want you to do, the consultant has to do salary interviews and stuff, so everybody that's working, they gotta go out and do an interview with them, ask them if they're getting paid what they're supposed to be, prevailing wage and all that stuff. So it's just a lot of added cost. The former benefit to it was the low interest. It's a 2% loan. Years before now, we could get that through a conventional loan. It's a little different now. So my point was is that you have to apply for SRF loans to do a project in order to be eligible for a lot of those grants.
And then if you don't get the grant, you get approved for the loan, you
Right.
gotta make up, I remember we did that one time.
Yeah, you're on the hook for doing the project.
Right.
And now you don't get the grant, so something like Main Street, I mean, Main Street, we know it needs to be done.
Yeah.
Whether we get grants or not, it still needs to be done. So it might be beneficial. I did apply for Main Street one of the times, which triggered stuff with DEP, but they put in there that you could have lead service lines or lead goosenecks. So, and they said, oh, wait a minute, you didn't get the loan, but now we got this issue. So, which was screwed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just trying to hit keywords.
Yeah. Right, to get their attention.
Yeah.
Sometimes the keywords backfire.
Got their attention.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I don't know if you want me to look at going that route for
I mean, do we have any
Project.
Do we have any engineering on that,
Main Street.
on Main Street? So part of the, I think obviously the process is what they always look for.
We would have to do the engineering first,
Right.
which is probably $500,000 plus just for the engineering. So we would have to look at it if you want to spend that money to get the design done.
So, all right, so we have to, obviously we need to just look at our revenue, projected revenue, that, and then what's our retained earnings. We have to look at a revenue report first and see how we're going to proceed, I think.
Yeah, but we didn't even get into the stuff that we still got to add on this year.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, yeah. Do you want to jump into that?
Yeah. So, we'll start right at the top. All the other things are either funded or in the process. So if you go down to the sewer lining, so if you just, this line, this side over here is what I'm looking at this year. I'm gonna clean this sheet up so it's a little easier to follow. We can follow along with which ones you guys want to move forward with this year. So I put in the sewer line, 2,400 feet is 240,000 ballpark of these numbers.
So where was that sewer line?
So we had two of them that we looked at. One one of them is up C Street. When we did the camera work, not this year, the year before, it showed a lot of deterioration on that line. Partially because that's where the force main comes into from Depot Street. And it's an old AC line, so it's a lot of pipe starting to deteriorate. So that's a good candidate for slip lining as opposed to digging it up and replacing it. So that was the key one that I wanted to look at for slip lining.
So C Street, where does, you said Depot, where the pump station comes in from Depot Street?
Not Depot, Davis.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to think.
I was
I'm like that.
running around, I'm like,
I do that every time. Depot and Davis. I
Yeah,
don't know
I'm
why.
I'm thinking, is there a loop line coming around somewhere?
I'm like, no.
Okay, so that makes more sense. Okay, now I follow. So C Street, where it pumps in from the Davis. Okay.
I don't know why I was calling it Depot Street.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
These are your directional roads in this town.
I know. Northwest, northeast,
I know, northeast,
southwest,
southwest.
southeast,
I
south.
struggle with them, don't worry about it. I've lived there my just about my life.
All right, so that one, the 2,400 feet, so that would be from where to where?
I gotta double check which ones are which with the math.
Okay.
I had two of them here, but I had them on there last year, and I just moved them into moving forward, but I didn't delineate on my list here which ones they were. I'll get that for you. But I had two of them that we looked at that we said these really should be slip lined.
Mm-hmm.
But I can get you the exact locations on those. Then there'll be an additional blower stage replacement for the blowers here. So we were trying to budget one a year. We've got 6 blowers altogether.
Yeah,
So if we do one a year,
yeah.
just
Yep.
hopefully turn them over by, within the next decade. So that's that one. Precast stairs, I know we had talked about it a couple times. I don't think we ever really resolved on
Yeah, I think
what
last time,
path we want to go with that.
I think the last time we talked was going to just get a cost, what would be a price on, it was just the rails, right, or do they need stairs too?
They need stairs, yeah.
Oh, it was the rail.
I
think we
got
thought-
cinder blocks and stuff,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I would just call the precast company to see what the,
Yeah, I'll take measurements and,
yeah. They'll come out and measure them. Just
Okay.
call them up and tell them, come on, give you a price.
all right, so I'll call them. I think the number I came up with was something within time bonds.
I mean, you can do them in metal, but metal probably a lot more money.
That's what it was, you said. Look at getting them galvanized or
You
something.
could do galvanized,
Yeah.
but they are very expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, you could check with O'Leary.
Yeah.
They could fabricate something, see what the cost was versus doing the precast.
Precast, yeah. Yeah, I'll check around on that just to make sure, but I want to budget some money so we can move forward if I get the prices.
Yeah, I can tell you that the precasts are good, but the longevity, the galvanized would last longer.
I'll last them.
And usually it's got
The grading.
the grade is
Snow.
everything goes
Yeah, so
through.
you don't slip.
Because the precast,
I kind of prefer that.
the precast with the salt, they in 10 years they're deteriorated.
Well, we don't really use salt on anything down there.
Oh, okay. I'm just thinking for IC is what it
But
be.
even you're still tracking it, so I mean, you're gonna track it up
Yeah.
through everything.
Yeah.
I don't salt my driveway, but my car comes home almost salty.
Yeah. Okay.
So the grip box for Headworks, I put that in there because, we had
So you have, that's what it is, you have the FY 25, so this should have been 26, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I had 2 different lists that I was working on. I probably just grabbed one that worked and they had 27 too. And I deleted a bunch of stuff out of the old one.
Yeah, I didn't dig through my folder enough time.
Yeah.
Running around. So I wanted to go through my folder, make sure we pull out like a lot of the things. But, a lot of times too, is we fund it through our budget. Like I know we want to do tree removal, but the money's already been appropriated for that, but it just went back to retained earnings. So
Right.
we should just pull that right out of retained earnings, so we've already appropriated that money.
Right.
So we gotta think of those projects that we have already approved.
Well, that was
Yeah.
the one like the tree stuff. I said we're just going to budget.
Yeah.
But there's things in here that I wasn't able to do, and then it's again, I gotta look at, if I have enough money we spent probably over 50, and it's gonna be another 50 for the HVAC stuff, so there's 100,000 that I didn't budget for. So it's a matter of, am I gonna hold off on
Some of the other stuff.
one of the other projects, and do we re-budget for them? So I've got to see how, I didn't have my expenditure report that I keep track of everything in, so I got that this morning, so I will go through and re-look at that to figure out where I stand as to what I can do,
Yeah.
and what I got to hold off on. So before we finalize the budget, I'll come back with those and let you know which ones I might have to shift around.
Okay.
But yeah, that was always my theory, is if I don't get to it, it'll go back into retained earnings and then
Yeah.
just reappropriate it.
That was, and the reason why I'm thinking that is because we could, I think it was 6,000 that we had originally on that,
On what?
on tree removal. Did we have 6,000?
Now it's 1,500.
Yeah, it wasn't that
I
high.
had 1,500 there and I had 1,500 on the water.
So, yeah, you divided it
That
up.
was 3,000.
So 3K.
Maybe it was a couple of years ago we budgeted higher, I think.
I think we did budget higher one time, and we did a bunch of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
To
that probably was the main, all the tree stuff over at the
Yeah,
primary.
we did over at Primary.
Yeah.
Well, we did some at Primary, we did some at Glen, and then to save some money, we rented, because we were doing this, painting this building, we rented that lift. And then we did a lot of the tree cutting down here when we had the lift, so we did it ourselves as opposed to contracting it out.
Yeah, good. Okay, so,
All right, so
yeah, so you basically you're gonna have to go through and see what projects that were approved that weren't completed.
Right.
The demands currently that we're facing, to prioritize and see how that one's to work.
Yeah, so I did go through and I have the list. I know that one's,
Okay.
it was all over the place. That's why I said I'm gonna redo this, so that once you guys approve it, we're gonna have a list of just the ones that were approved, and I'm gonna get rid of the other stuff.
Yeah.
Move it on to next year or whatever.
Yeah. I like to keep it on the radar though, like I said.
That's what I wanna do. I wanna keep it there, but I want, every year, and we do this every time, we're like, wait a minute, which ones did we approve and which ones didn't we?
Yeah, usually I write the year that, like 25 or 26, 24, whatever year it
Yeah.
was.
So I went through and looked at it, and I wrote down all the ones that were on last year's budget that you approved. So it was the tree removal, the SBR upgrade, the sewer repairs, the blower, one of the blower stage replacements, and the pista grit repairs. In here I got the pista grit replacement, so that's a decision I need to make too, is do I hold off on that? Because I had O'Leary come down and look at it, and they can do some repairs to it, but when they came in and did the evaluation, they said you really should think about replacing it, and it's in their,
No, so I put some grip up there.
yeah, it's in the asset management that they say that we should be, if I can find it here. But, this was 24, 25, and
Yeah, it's up top.
I did half of that stuff. Well, you're not looking at this sheet.
Oh,
'cause
okay.
I didn't print multiple copies of this. I can make you guys copies, but I just printed them before we started. So there's, they changed the damn name of things, so. So here's that, where they had the precast stairs, but they lumped it in with aluminum toe plates. Because they're saying, for OSHA regulations, you have to have toe plate all the way around those tanks.
I remember that, yeah.
And they estimated 190,000. And that didn't make the list for us yet.
Yeah.
This filter and that, this one we did ourselves. We made one of those ourselves. This we did ourselves. The sandblasted disc filters we already have in there. Replace this one, yeah, that one we did. This is all that vault down back. I don't know why they think that place is a priority, but. Water system, so the plant water system's that Tiger Loop thing. I think we should get that running, but we need a new HME tank. And it's a huge tank, so it's a pain in the ass to do. The one that was in there never worked since day one because it kept tearing the liner that's inside. So it was about the thickness of a shower curtain. I don't know why they would think that would work.
No, no problem.
Day tank I disagree with. Transfer pumps I disagree with.
Now it's back to
The AC unit is already in the list. So spare mixer, spare decanter, an SPR diffuser replacement. We've already replaced 2 out of 3.
Haven't had very many sunny days.
To do the third one was when we were switching tanks, but we kind of ran into other problems and threw us off of that track. Intakes we did. So those are kind of on that list that I told you. We got 6 of them, so it's, we'll slowly implement those in. Colonial Pump Station, I'd love to replace that one, but you know, that's a lot of money. That'll be our blower stage. Maybe some, no, we don't want. So there's the one that I'm looking at. So the micro strainer, they put 255. I think I budgeted.
Well, basically, I take this road on here, keep on going. Like I'm heading to
255.
Oh, so I put their number in. Yeah, I think I used their numbers just for the budget purpose, but I don't think it's that much. For some reason, I think they include engineering costs in here, but there'll be no engineering costs, and I'm not gonna have an engineer tell me how to replace the exact same thing. Pull out the old one, put the new one in. I think that's pretty much it for engineering for me on that one.
I'll give you the dollar now.
Yeah. The new grid system, that one's gonna be very pricey, but we're gonna see what we can do on getting the repairs done on that one. They came out and looked at it. They said they have a new system, which is probably what the $660,000 is. The new system will take out 40% more material than the existing one, so it would probably make things more efficient in the treatment plant and less sludge and stuff building up in there from fine stuff.
So, I guess just thinking out loud here. So we want probably, obviously, we're not going to fund that through our rates. It would have, through our retained earnings and our general budget. So this is part of knowing the fact that the plan is getting dated.
Yeah. So
I'd like to see a projected list that for, obviously we know we're going to have to borrow
yeah.
for a lot of those big ticket items, stuff that's coming down the line.
Yeah, so a few of them that I think definitely should be, I put these 2 in here because I think those 2 should be kind of priority, but where they said a spare decanter, I agree. Spare mixer, and so the diffuser we already did. We can replace the third one when we take a tank down and get it ready. But the spare decanter and spare mixer, I think we definitely should have. The biggest reason behind that is that if we do get, the Pine project, if that moves forward, and they fill the building at cubes, and McKesson gets up and running, we might get to that point that we have to put all 3 basins online, and at that point I don't have, a lot of times when something goes, we take it out of the empty tank, put it in the new one, and then we get it fixed or the other one.
No, I agree. I think you should have it on hand, so
Right.
it comes down, it's ready to replace.
Yeah, so a lot of times what we do is, we'll pull the motor out. We fix the motor, put it back in. But, you can't take pieces and parts, and a lot of the stuff like the decanter now, they don't sell those parts anymore. So now it's a whole new design. So I'm thinking we should have a spare decanter unit, the whole thing, sitting ready to go. So it's just bring a crane in, you pull it out, drop the new one in, wire it back up, and you go. But if I get all 3 tanks running, we can't do like we do now, where we take one apart and we're working on it while we can. We need to be able to, within that day, pull one, drop another one in.
Yeah.
So we'll need a spare whole mixer setup and a spare decanter setup.
Can you send them out to be reworked?
I would imagine.
Yeah, like we send the motors out.
Yeah,
So that's what I would say. You know, if we have a whole unit ready to go, we drop it in, pull that one out,
Yep.
and then we
Yep.
redo it. So we'll always have a spare.
Yeah, that's just the way it should be. Especially as that stuff's getting older and tougher to replace, you're gonna want it.
Yeah.
Get it while you can, because as soon as they don't have them, then you gotta wait to have it reworked.
Yep. But I mean, at least if I have one on the side, I can
Yep.
drop it in and pull it out.
Absolutely.
Then I can take the time to rebuild it. But you know, then it's just that time in between rebuilding the one that you pull out to hope one of the other ones don't come.
Oh, yeah. Short.
Yeah.
Don't take the time to rebuild it, get it up.
Yeah. So I'll look at those big ticket items, the 350 and the 255, and then I'll get the number for the spare mixer setup as well. So we'll tie those into a loan.
Yeah.
So like I said, that's a big number, but
When the 240 was the.
yeah. So we got to look at the slip lining. I would like to at least do one of those, but I'll get you which ones both of those are. All right, so we go further down.
Yeah, look, I'm thinking. I guess we'd have to look at the borrowing on those,
Yeah, so
depending on how retained earnings. I'm just thinking
Right.
retained earnings, what we could use in that.
So based on retained earnings,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
which one of these, I mean, it might be something where we pull all the big ticket items and just do one borrowing to do all those things at once.
That's what I'm trying to weigh up.
Instead of, saying, oh, well, we got retained earnings, let's use it.
Yeah, you don't want to use it.
I don't want to deplete it.
Deplete it for things that have a long shelf life.
Right. All right, so moving down would be another truck. I put 85 just because I based it on what the last one just cost us.
So I was thinking about that. So remember how you had said Matt had looked at it, said it's over 50, so if you're not on the bid list, you can't bid? Is that?
No.
So,
it was-
the
when I went to have him sign the contract,
Yeah,
he's like, well, this is over 50. It has to go out on the compass
okay.
for the procurement. And he said, well, Place Motors was on there. And he's like, well, Place isn't on the state bid list, so it has to go out to bid to do that. And it has to be posted on the compass thing because it's over 50,000. But then he said, well, they're on the state bid list, so why aren't you just using them? So then that's what we did. We just went with the one that was on the state bid list and went that process. Because they're on the state bid list, it doesn't have to go out to that. That's the whole purpose of the state bid list. They already went through all that procurement where they went to get the best prices. So as long as they can list the state bid list contract,
Okay,
which I
so
went through that process with them.
this is the problem I had with, I was trying to, and maybe I'm off on my thinking on that, or I'm missing something on thinking. So if you have a company that isn't on the state bid list, but comes in lower than the state bid list, you don't have to give it to the state bid list, right?
You don't have to, but you have to follow that procurement.
Go through the
Method. I have
process.
to go through that process,
Yeah.
which is, paying to put it up on Compass
Yeah,
or Combines or whatever it is, and then it goes out to a big pool of people. Anybody that gets that listing or whatever can bid on it. So I'd have to go that process if you want to go that, or we go the state bid list.
yeah.
So
Because I have seen some. I've been looking at my trucks myself on this, and my truck is similar to what we'd be getting down here. And there's been some real good deals on some stuff but I guarantee it's not on the bid list, and it's cheaper than
Right.
the 85. I
Right.
was seeing some numbers come in.
well, some of that is, some of it is based on you guys wanted to keep the fleet color either blue or green.
Yeah,
That added a tremendous amount of money.
yeah.
I want to say it was like 15,000 just between painting the bed and the body. If the one that we got, we didn't have to paint the cab and chassis, but the bed has to get painted to match the cab.
Let me give you an example of this. Is obviously like my truck. When I bought my truck with utility, it's 13 years old, so
Yeah,
put that number in perspective to where we are today. the additional charge when I bought my truck to have, because the utility body was white, I think, and it was when I bought it was a cabin chassis, I put the body on.
Right.
It was $1,000 to have the body painted.
Yeah.
That's what they charge an upcharge to have it painted the same color as
Yeah.
the cab.
Yeah, it's going crazy.
So $1,000 to $15,000 is, you know, just an idea.
Yeah, because I think it was almost 15,000
It's crazy.
just to get the painting.
Yeah, you had said that in previous
It's insane.
meetings. I remember, like, oof. Like, can't build.
I remember back
I know.
when we did a hot rod or something.
Yeah, it's like half the
Yeah.
budget of like a really nice
$5,000
car right now.
$5,000 paint job was like, you went all out.
Yeah. So I guess, but
So,
we're kind of
like I
stuck
said,
to
I know
this.
that
we can't have multicolored vehicles. We're gonna stay.
Yeah.
We can't look like Joe's garage down there.
Son.
Yeah, Sanford,
Have
Sanford,
going
yeah.
Sanford and Son, yeah.
We have to keep a level of professionals and appearance for the community as well. Too.
Yeah,
The last
so-
thing you want to do is make the community see everything hodgepodge, and they don't think their tax money and everything else is not being spent well.
Yeah, so I mean, like you said, I know we can get cheaper trucks out there, but it was, adding the plows, the truck side plow setup,
Yeah.
that adds 4,000 something to it. The lift gate in the back, that's another 3,000 or 4,000. Like I said, the painting is a huge amount of the upcharge. So those are some of the key major up costs on those.
Yeah.
All right, so you brought that up when we said this price for the truck, so.
Yeah, yeah. So that was my thought. I was asked what the question was. I was thinking like,
Right.
so if you had a company come in lower but they're not on a state bid list, I was wondering, do you still have to?
No, I
Go with
could have went that route, but then I would have had to go through the whole process of putting it back out to bid.
Bid.
But we saw how much it went up in the 3 times that I came to you guys.
You're right.
We started at 60 because that's what I had ballpark prices for. Then I went to 72. I came to you guys. You approved the 72, so I went back and said, all right, I want to order that truck. And they're like, oh, that one's not here anymore. So I'm like, all right, well. So they gave me a price for the next one, and it was up to 82. I'm like, I can't keep going through this process. I'm going to
Yeah.
be 150,000 for a pickup truck,
You're chasing it.
And that's LT. It's not. So.
It's crazy. The price of trucks are through the roof.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. But that's probably a fair number to put in.
Yeah, so I figured I'll go that route. That one won't be a utility bed, so it should come in under that. But I don't want to go through this process again and keep chasing it.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking more like
Yeah, next thing you know, you have a 2030 model.
more like the 250, something along that line. Probably the plow setup again, because that truck plows way better than the other trucks. So something more along that line with the full-size open bed. We can fit more stuff in there. Just the different things when we go get tubing and all that stuff. The rolls of pipe. It's just easier in the bigger, the open bed. And then once we replace, once we get something like the 250, then we'll have all the vehicles we need. Then it's a matter of replacing the other two, which is the 250 and the old 350. The old 350 and the 250, I'd say once we have those other 3 trucks, I don't know that we would need to go with full-size trucks like that for the other 2 vehicles. If we went with a smaller pickup or, one of those vans or something
Yeah.
that Josh could throw lawnmowers or weed whackers or anything in
Yeah.
to go do that type of work, because I don't think that, Josh is using the old green one. He doesn't need a utility bed pickup to do the work that he's doing, so there's no need to replace that truck with the same type of truck.
So what is the goal on the vehicles? What is the? I remember I thought we talked about this because I was worried about vehicle creeping just continually. So how many vehicles are we looking for on the water side? To be
So we need 2 on water.
yeah.
So 2 on water, and then, so what do we have? I need Steve, Bruce, and then we need the one for the utility, the
Service
labor
truck,
type.
yeah.
Well, for the labor type person, to he's running around all the time to cut grass, clean buildings, whatever. So It's not like he can share a truck with somebody to go do things. He's always going somewhere. But that's why I was saying I don't need a full size, you know, heavy work truck to do the stuff that he's doing. You know, move weed whackers around or grab trash or clean buildings or whatever. So if we went with something like what are the transits or whatever, I don't know if they do those anymore, but something along that line. It's a smaller vehicle that he can fit the stuff that he needs to do in, but they're far less expensive than,
Right.
you know, a full-size heavy-duty truck.
So 2 in the water.
Yeah. 2 in the water, the labor vehicle, the sewer vehicle, and then the last vehicle would be the one that I'm always going around in, or, you know, if the admin needs to use it to run up to the town hall, you know, if Peter needs it.
So,
It's 5 vehicles altogether.
okay, so 2 water, 1 labor, 1
Soup.
1 sewer. Now, can one of those vehicles be, like the sewer, the only reason he needs one is just to go around and check
All the pump
Pump stations,
stations,
right.
and running samples or going to mail reports or whatever.
Right, so do we really need I mean, can we take one of those vehicles and have a combined vehicle for that? I guess we really need another vehicle just for,
Well, right now, before we had Bruce, we were still running into a problem where, like, Peter writes it on the board because he's like, I have to go get these out. And, you know, I'm tied up with something, Josh is out doing something, and Steve's got his truck. So Peter's got no vehicle there. So it's gonna be the same scenario. So I'm still just saying 1 truck on sewer. But that's gonna be the guy running around doing, you know, doing the stations and everything else.
so that, like I said, could be a smaller vehicle.
Right. That's what I said, the last 2 vehicles could be the smaller type vehicle.
You got small trucks, you got mid-sized trucks,
Yeah.
something like mine. It still could be feasible to do, or the transit van.
In theory, I could actually set my gutters up on site.
Sometimes the van's easier. I think some are running cheaper even than the mid-sized trucks.
Yeah.
So 2 on the water side, you're thinking, so obviously we got the 2 guy going. So they wouldn't work together?
No, they'll be doing different stuff all the time. And then even if they are working together, a lot of the time, you know, one needs to be down at one hydrant while another's at another hydrant, or you need one pulling a trailer.
Okay.
You know, so you definitely need 2 because,
Okay.
I mean, Peter and Bruce are not going to be working together every day. You know, he's working with them right now, but
Yeah,
at some
going
point,
through
you know,
Yeah.
between valve exercise and hydrant flushing, you got to have 2 vehicles when you do the hydrant flushing and stuff.
Excuse me.
Because one has to be, you know, doing a valve while, you know, you're closing a valve while you're getting the direction of flow to go the way you want. So you need 2 vehicles for the water side, just to keep going.
My chair charges is based on my
And 1 for the labor, so
so I don't got off in
So you're saying 2 water, 1 labor, 1 sewer, and one for you.
Basically for me, but if Karen needs to go somewhere, or, you know,
So that
if
would
the
be,
sewer guy's using the truck and then Peter needs to run and do whatever, he can take the truck that I use. So.
so that vehicle couldn't be used for what Peter would be using, could use it for?
For what?
We have 1 truck down here for Peter to run and go check his station, so if something came up for Peter.
Which one are you talking about?
He said that we need one vehicle for the suicide,
Yeah.
and then you need another vehicle for this side over here, for the office stuff and.
Well, it's more me.
Right. So I'm just
But-
thinking, could you plan it out where he knows he's gonna do his things at a certain time?
Well, I could. We try that, but then when we have a water main break or you know something else going on, or I got to go to meetings at the town hall, so then I'm up there and he's stuck, and I've got stuck in meetings till 6 o'clock up there, and he's thinking he's going at 2:30 to go do what he needed to do. So then he doesn't have a vehicle. We've run into that a dozen times. Not even on just emergencies, like I should be at the town hall at that meeting for the 40B project, but
Okay. It seems like a lot of vehicles for, well, you know. I understand the need. I was just trying to come up with a way, if there was a scheduling way you could eliminate a vehicle, if you could schedule.
yeah, we've tried that. Like I said, Peter puts it on the board, but
Right.
if I've got a meeting at the town hall that goes way longer than I anticipated, or if we're in the middle of a construction project and I'm out there dealing with the contractor screwing something up.
Or the laborer, you could say, hey, you know, hop in with, go help Steve for a couple hours, Bruce, and he takes the truck and go.
Yeah, we've tried all that, working with the 3 trucks that we have now. And that was being down 2 staff. You know, now we've got 1 more staff, and we got 1 more we gotta add.
Yeah, but he won't need another truck, that's still the same,
Yeah, it's still just 1 on the sewer.
right, right.
So I mean, I didn't add 1 just because we're adding another staff member over there. I'm just saying it's 1 more person that'll be out working on a lift station or something, and then Peter's in the middle of needing to go do whatever he does. You know, if he's got to go get samples or.
Yeah. We'd have to just schedule, I mean, work it out, we're not gonna, I don't think everybody needs to have their own vehicle, I guess is what the bottom line I'm getting to on this. So. All right, so what do you want, how do you want to wrap this up for today? You're gonna get the, you said you're gonna organize this, break that out.
Well, I already broke this out. Yeah,
I mean-
I'll pull the big ticket items.
Yeah.
Something that looks like we're gonna have to do loan for.
Yeah.
But, you know, we just missed the last 2 things here. I had a spare EQ pump
Which ones?
under the truck. There's a truck
Oh.
and spare EQ,
Oh,
and
okay.
then the PRV replacement on Main Street.
Yeah. Were we on the Sperry,
We did one.
EQ.
That's why I had
3.
I had it originally there with ×2. So I did 1. We already did the 1. Now I got to do the other one.
okay. And what was the lifespans on those?
I think those are original.
Okay, all right, so it's not something that we gotta.
Yeah, this isn't something that you
do.
replace
Okay,
frequently. This is a capital.
okay,
This is truly what we would use as retained earnings. You do that one purchase, and
that's done, yeah. PRV replacement ×2, that's the one right at the pump station. And,
there's one ready. The one that we got to do now is the one across from the booster pump station.
Yeah.
The other one's on West Street, in front of the cemetery.
okay,
That one we did last year.
okay, all right, yeah. So that would be definitely, that would be retained earnings.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we can put together a list, what would be used for retained earnings, borrowing, and that would be it, right?
Yeah. I just, like I said, I still got to go through these numbers a little more based
Yeah,
on.
fine tune things,
Yeah.
and see if Kyle has a chance to review. And I'm gonna go through, I didn't bring my other folder, I'm gonna see, make sure we got everything pulled out.
Yeah.
Things that we had already spent the money on. If the transfer, you know, from retained earnings, not transferring, I guess. No, we'd be transferring because we already appropriated, so,
Right.
yeah. All right, so let's wrap that up for now. Anything else on the budget, Phil?
No.
Do you have anything else you want to add, Bob?
Nope.
Okay. Open sessions with topics not reasonably anticipated 40 hours in advance of the meeting?
None.
Anything? No, I don't have anything. Okay, entertain a motion to adjourn
A motion to adjourn?
at, we got 10:50, yeah. All in favor? Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.